So, Coach, you told a story about the three tight ends.
Yeah.
And the Bears talk a lot as well about, you get hurt, you get back. You got to deal with a lot of demons in the game. It's one thing to say to those guys, okay, I'm going to pitch you guys off against each other, and every week I'm going to determine your plan. So when you point at one guy, the other guy's got demons to deal with. And he's got to work the next week to practice. And you point at the other guy, and the other guy's got to work it out. What did you do to help the guys? I mean, you can't just point at them and let them go on their way.
No,
sometimes they need counseling, and the kids are the same way.
Heck of a question. Okay, I can answer it by what I told you about your children. The reason they could live with that is because they knew I loved them. And they loved each other. And they did. We were setting up for our wedding, and my daughter, Mary Pat, said, Dad, Peter and Leon have to sit together. Which they will. Hopefully bring a nice kid, too. But I will tell you something. I've watched a lot of guys coach. Okay? Are you in business? What do you do?
I run a branding company.
You're a branding company. Your employees, they know more about you than you know about yourself. My players, okay, they know that you're a stand-up guy. They know whether you love them. They know whether you're there just to use them to get to another level. I just had a situation with a wide receiver that we had at Notre Dame, Bobby Brown. I love Bobby Brown. And Bobby's an attorney now in Hoboken, New Jersey. And he was in town and he called me. And it was a real learning experience for me. Because we went out, we had something to eat, we were talking. And he said, you know, Coach, he said, we could never understand something about it. And he didn't play my position. He was a wide receiver. And I said, what was that? And he said, you were friends with Coach so-and-so. And I said, yeah. He said, why? That's what he was. And he went on to this whole litany about how they felt this coach used them. And the analogy he created, he said, Coach, on the other side of the screen, there was a deal that said head coach's contract. He said, we were the little pebbles to get across the screen so he could have it. And I knew the guy as an adult. I had no clue that these kids, the way these kids felt.
Coach,
No
if I
clue.
could chime in, it had to do with the culture that you guys built. The culture enabled him to be able to make those tough choices without having anyone disgruntled or backstabbing.
Exactly. Chris is exactly right. You know, you guys ever run companies? Remember this thing. I can go to your company, okay? And I'm not saying, you know, I'm certainly not as astute a business person as Chris. But I can go to your company and I can talk to your employees, and I will know without them criticizing you or anything. Just meet them and see how they're doing, and I can tell them what you're about. There's an old saying in management 100 years ago, and it's so above, so below. The people that work for you are a direct reflection of you. A direct reflection of you. And how you lead, that's how they'll respond. So above, so below. And I can tell you, you know the old story, the football team takes on the personality of the head coach. Your company takes on your personality. You come up to our office at NCSA, you cannot believe the electricity. You cannot believe that we have a lot of young kids working for us. Okay? And that's because of the way, the tempo that he sets. So above, so below. I've been on a coaching staff. Now I won't get into all this, but I was on a coaching staff one time, and it was misery. Misery. So above, so below. One of the guys on the staff said, this was the best job I had in the most miserable 3 years of my life. And you know where the misery went? Out onto the field. They were miserable. Because you're not going to go to a meeting in the morning and be belittled or be said you can't do this and you can't do that, and then jump in your meeting room and go, hey guys, how you doing? You ready for practice? They know. They know more. You cannot fool the players. You can't. I mean, you got to start talking about Mike Ditka and you know, you can't fool them. You can't. That's the same thing in business. You can't fool them. You can't tell them you're going to do this and then do that, or we'll hold off on this, or we'll hold off on that. No, can't be. And that's why athletics is such a great transition into the business school.